Welcome to another exciting episode of the Andre The Beast Crayton Show. Today, another exciting show, another exciting guest. Let me tell you where we're going with today's show. We do this every day. We're conditioned to go to school, to get an education, to either get married, have children, serve in the armed forces, or go to work, make a career, find something to do. However, did you ever think for 1 second, is there more to life than these opportunities? If they are opportunities. And what happens if you decide to take one of these opportunities and decide to get into the workforce? Let's call it what it is. School creates labor forces, not entrepreneurs. But you're going to school and you wind up going into the workforce. You're working for a company, healthcare, restaurant, hotel management, no matter what it is, but you're working. You're becoming part of the system, so to speak. But something in the back of your mind is telling you, this is not what I want to be doing. At least not like this. This is called the entrepreneur mindset developing. And then you decide to walk away. Now the real challenges happen. Today, we have a beautiful young lady from Indianapolis, Indiana, who's going to take us down that journey on how she went into the system, working for people, and decided she didn't like what she saw and decided, you know what, I'm going to take the bulls by the horn. I'm going to turn myself into that beast mindset and go do something, not only for myself, but for my community. Let me welcome to the show. Indianapolis is on for Trina Williams. Did I get the first name right?
Yes.
Bam.
Known as Coach Trina.
Oh, okay. Coach Trina. I like that. Before we get started, and thank you for coming on the show. So before we get started, you're from Indianapolis, Indiana, South Side,
Outside.
Brick City area for those that need clarification. Tell the viewers a little bit about you before we get started with your show, with your journey.
So my journey started. I always been in a home, in the home health field. So in the field of taking care of people in our community. Something that was always dear to my heart. No matter how many times I try to walk away, it brings me right back to taking care of our people in our community, and that comes from mentorship, from it could be visitations, kids that are not able, or teenagers not able to see their parents without somebody there sitting with them. So just along the years, it's just something that I enjoy doing. I used to, some of the things I love doing is mentoring our youth. Our youth were, it reminds me of myself when I was young, when I was doing some of the things that I shouldn't be doing, and had mentors around me that, took me under their wings. So just something that I enjoy doing. I love giving back to our community. So that is something that I just love to do. So my journey of this is, I used to work for a company, and what made me go into doing things myself is working for a company, seeing that I was making them so much money a year, and they wasn't paying us what I feel like that we was worth. And there was plenty of times that I even would come home. It's like, God, I love what I do, but this can't be it. There has to be more for me out here. I'm plenty of times riding home, pulling in the driveway, just saying to my husband, like, listen, this is a whole lot, just crying, like, I need God to get us up out of this. And that's my journey, from working for a company. And I just woke up. They had me in a meeting one day, and they shouldn't have showed me the numbers, and they did, what I was making for them. And I was thinking about everybody else in the room, and I was just like, no, this ain't it. This can't be it. This can't be it. So that was my journey one day, sitting in that meeting, and I woke up like, yeah, I need to do this for myself, and I need to make sure that, we can do this for our community.
Let's go back a minute. Don't I like the way you hurry up and move forward, but you threw out some breadcrumbs. You know you did. Let's go back to you growing up on the South Side. You did some things you shouldn't have done. You grew up with a village. I know about the South Side. You grew up in a village. What was it like for you as a little girl? What were some of the things that you did? Because this transformation just didn't happen overnight. You had to either you were surrounded with individuals that were older, family members or whatever. But let's go a little bit deeper into your childhood growing on the South Side.
Okay.
I heard a lot of stuff about the South Side.
Mhm.
Put it like this: I
So,
didn't go over there.
you know what? One thing I love about the South Side, and I say this to people that every year it's the South Side reunion. One thing I love about it is a family. If you ever
Right.
go to the South Side reunion, you do not see police officers. Like if we have something, and not trying to be funny, if we have someone on another side of town, it's police officers everywhere. But I love the reunions that we have because it's like family. We like family out there. So and I love the fact that my mom raised me on the south side of town because I felt like I when I went to the east side, it was like a whole different world
Yeah.
for me. But I'll say my mom passed away when I was 11, going on 12. That's when I lived in Brick City. My mom passed, and then my aunt took care of me. It was rough. It was rough. When you're young and your mom passed away like that, and then you're moving to another environment. And I love my auntie. I love the fact that she took me and my brother in. She could have, sent us to foster care, but she was like, "No, we family, and we gonna stick together, and we gonna work through this." So, just being on the South Side, for me, it was a blessing
Where was
from
your
coming from
father
the
at? Where was your
my
father at?
father was in New York. He didn't live here. He lived in New York. So my mom was a single parent taking care of me and my brothers. And it was three. I'm the baby girl and I have two brothers.
So your father did. I'm pretty sure he was aware of your mother's passing at such a young age. I mean, did he step up to the plate or what?
So my dad, no. Let me say that. I say no. Even when she passed away, he didn't come to the funeral. I don't know if he didn't know because I knew he was living in New York at the time. I did see him years later. He did come in the picture years later. For me, as a young girl, when you don't have your dad around, you need that father figure. So for me, it was hard for me to, forgive him for a minute. It took a minute, but, I did forgive him. I was able to, me and my kids were able to go see him before he passed away. So I was able to spend some time with him before he did pass. And my dad passed with cancer. So just a couple years we was able to. I made sure that we went back and forth to visit him. And one of the things that God allowed me to know: certain people not in your life for a reason.
Right.
And sometimes we have to realize that we wonder why parents not there, why my dad wasn't there, why my mom not there. God didn't allow them to be there, and if it was for a reason, probably for your safety. You just never know what decision God makes for you and for your life.
Speaking of a little young girl, I'm going to take the viewers into the heartfelt, emotional state of a young girl who didn't have their father, but then had to make amends. Like when you say you had to come to grips with it. What was the hardest thing for you to come to grips with? What did you share with your father when you got a chance to really understand your words and the impact to let him know how you was feeling without really rocking the boat? I would say.
Mhm. One of the things, one night I was sitting at home and I was watching TV, and I heard a pastor say exactly what I was just saying, that it's not your fault. Sometimes God is not allowing them in your life for a reason. So even when I sit down and had a conversation with him, I had to let him know, listen, I came to the understanding that it's not your fault. It's not your fault that, that you wasn't there. It had to be a reason why God didn't allow you to be around us. So it was for me, I had to forgive within, so I'd be able to forgive him for not being there. Even when my mom passed away, you're not being there for in our life, knowing that we needed you at that time. So, but for him, he understood. He did apologize, for not being there. In his life, he felt like he had a lot going on. But even as a young child, trying to get that understanding. But as I got older, I was able to, forgive.
You mentioned raised by a village. I understand that. I'm from the South. I know what that village looks like with your cousins and your aunts and people that's fills in for that place. But you're still a young female. What was it? What were you missing? Um, without your dad being there and the loss of your mom and having to now resonate as your aunt and other people stepping in them roles. Like what's that like from a little girl standpoint? People know my journey. They know because I went through the same thing, same age, and it was bitter to for
Mhm.
quite some time because I knew it was not their responsibility, but I couldn't question God as to why you took my mom or why my dad is doing this and doing that. It took me till I got almost 30 to 40 years old with therapy to understand where you're already at, the bigger picture. But from a little girl standpoint, what was that like for you to really adjust? What were some of the difficult things that you had to go through? And the reason I'm doing that is I'm paving the road so people can understand your journey from where you at now and how all of this healthcare ties into where you at now.
I would say for me, just our family always being a close knit. So, I remember even when I was young, we're all living in a house together. It's probably like 15 of us all staying in a house together.
Oh my
So,
God! Don't do that to me. You bringing back you bringing back memories, though.
So, for me, it's like we always been a family. And my aunt that's still alive today. Every year we celebrate her every year for her birthday, and she the one that took me and my brother in. She just always been that that family. We're gonna always stick together. So even for me as a little girl, it was kind of hard because here I am. When somebody else have another child, and then now you bringing us into the midst of the house. Imagine how she felt, what I'm saying, as a child, like, hey, y'all coming into my space. So for me, sometimes it was kind of hard because, not having the full understanding, this is not my parent, this is my auntie that's raising us. But, when you see somebody else's, being taken care of, this is their mom. We're just we just here, but she never made us feel like that. But, as a child and as a teenager, we understood, like, hey, we don't, our mom and dad is not here. So just, being a teenager, listen, behaviors was high, always in trouble, kicked out of school. It's a long journey, a long story that can be shared about my life. But, just the fact that having the mentors around you, that's really important. I think if I didn't have the type of mentors that I have, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. So I think in the midst of going through, like you said, going to therapy, that stuff is very important. Being, for me, being in church was important for me because I was able to heal through some situations, even as a teenager and as a young girl.
When did the healthcare industry start to resonate with you? I can see a little bit of it listening to your story because trust me, I know what it's like to have 15 and more people in your house, whether it be brothers and sisters or whether it be,
Mm-hmm.
the whole cousins coming over and they're playing at grandma's house. You know what I mean? So the house is always packed. But when did you start finding yourself being molded into the healthcare industry?
I think I want to say I was at the age of probably 21 years old. Um, I was working for a company. It was called Family Enrichment, and I started working with them, start mentoring. I want to maybe say about 22. I started working with them, mentoring teenagers that was like high risk teenagers, always in trouble. So I worked with that company, and I started like at the age of 22. 22. So I've been in this field for a long time. After I worked for that company, I worked for another company, which was I want to say, oh, I forgot the name of the company, but just mentorship is what I did for a long time. And this is a wraparound service. So with the wraparound service, you had all kind of services that came with that. So, and there was a team of people that worked with this one individual to make sure that she had a basically her life was successful. So you put things around her to make sure that she can be successful, and no matter what the drama was, the trauma or whatever she was going through in life, he or she, that she had a team around her that can build her, build that confidence and build that mentorship that she needed, basically.
There are so many facets of dealing with healthcare, from dealing with the elderly to dealing with, like I said, trouble use, dealing with post traumatic stress disorder. I mean, the list can go on and on and
Yes.
on. How did you narrow yours down? Like, what was the top three that you wanted to get into? And then what made you pick your final call and put all your emphasis in that particular basket?
Okay. So I was working for a company. The company I work for, I was in a meeting one day. In that meeting, they just broke down everything to us. While I was in a meeting with a few other colleagues, I was like, mm, "Yeah, we're making them." I was making them. I want you to listen to this. I was making them $500,000 a month, and I was getting paid $50,000 a year.
What?
So yes, so that woke me up in that meeting, and I was like, "Yeah, no, this ain't what I'm about to do."
Okay, hold down a minute now. Hold that thought. What were you doing that
I was
that had them making that kind of money a month, especially in healthcare? Is there something I'm missing with the books here?
Oh yeah, yeah, it is. So I did group home. So in our group home settings, you have so many people living at home, and they pay so much a month for each person that living at home. So I had a total of 5 group homes. So in that group home, if the numbers added up, you'll see what that number was a month for what I was bringing in. So I'm a numbers person. So being a numbers person, I'm looking like, okay, yeah, this don't make sense to me. So what happened was I came home and I talked to my husband and I was just like, listen, we need to open up it's Weber Homes, which is what we have right now. It's called BDS. It's called B's Home. I was like, we need to open up a home. You know, we're making this much money for somebody else. We need to do it for ourselves. So that was my journey sitting in that meeting, and my journey started from that point right there when it comes to opening up my own business on the home care side of it. So what happened was I decided I was going through that process. I got denied. So let me share this. I got denied. They told me that I was going to have to wait 2 years to appeal. If I need to appeal, if I don't appeal, I have to wait for 2 years. So I got me a lawyer. Me and my partner got a lawyer, and my lawyer fought it. And they was trying to give us a hard time. And one thing that he said, he let the other talk, said to the other lawyer, listen, you got a black woman, she's a minority woman, and if we can't get this settled, then we're gonna take this to civil court. So they settled it like a week or two later. I got my email saying you was approved. All you need to do is send these documents in. We sent these documents in, and they told me that I got approved. But in the midst of that, I decided to open up my home care agency because I didn't know what was going on with the Weber homes. So I decided to open up my home care service, and I went through that process to open up my home care service. And before then, let me go back. I was telling my 2 friends, we sat in my backyard, and I said, hey, I'm opening up a home care agency. Y'all in the same field. I can't be the only one eating at the table. I need y'all. Once I get approved, I'm gonna help y'all get approved, and that's what started the consultant agency, which my husband came up with the name Business as Usual for that consultant agency, and we've been helping people ever since.
I like that because at first I was getting ready to say you figured out the matrix with the company, but you're now the person that's getting $1 million. So this is hypothetically saying that you're making $1 million+ now by doing what you was doing with this company, but you're telling me that you're taking the proceeds and you're actually reinvesting into the community to allow other opportunities to happen for other people. Am I correct?
So what we do is, so let me tell you a little bit about business usual. So what business usual do is, what we do is help people open up their home care agency. So they have to pay a fee for me to walk them through the process. So the process might be about 4 or 5 months to go through the process. So they pay me a fee to walk them through the process to become a home care owner, and then also be able to become a Medicaid. So they be certified to open up a home care, and then certified to open up their own to be Medicaid certified so they can bill Medicaid. So we walk them through that process.
How is okay? So help me understand. Like, who's benefiting from this? I get the business aspect
Mhm.
of opening up these facilities, but um, how is the how is the facilities helping other people? I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
So what we do is as a company, we go into our elderly people home to service them inside their home. So a lot of people don't want to go into a nursing home. So our goal is to go into their homes, keep them in a home, so they can feel comfortable in their home, and we take care of them in their home. So basically, what we do is take care of our elderly people in our community.
What kind of things are the elderly suffering from as far as getting the proper treatment? I'm pretty sure you've seen a lot in these places, but what are some of the things that drew a red flag with you that you are not going to allow to manifest its face or that policy into what you're doing for other people now?
So our goal is to follow the plan of care, whatever that plan of care is for that client. One of the things that and I tell people that the way you want to treat our clients in their home is the same way you treat your grandmother or your auntie, somebody that you are taking care of. And that's the mindset of when we walk into our client's home. We want to treat them like family and take care of them just as well as we'll take care of our own loved ones.
How are you being perceived with your competitors? Because clearly you've unlocked their secret, and I think it's sad that you make a company that kind of money and you can't pay your staff what they deserve. But more importantly, how were the patients being treated with such a large amount of money? What was being overlooked in your eyes?
I will say I'm not on. I wasn't on that side of the operational side. So I say for me, to take care of the people on to take care of the people on that side, I think for me it was more of making sure that we treat them with love and care, and make sure that for me and my company, if the strong point for me is to make sure that for our patients, that they know that, listen, one thing we know about cherishing lives, that they're going to cherish the lives of others. So they're going to cherish us, and our goal for my company is making sure that we are cherishing them inside their home, when we take them out in the community, that they know who we are.
What kind of patients do you guys specialize in?
So we deal with people that have intellectual disabilities. That's on our home care side and on our bees waiver side. So yeah.
Now, is there anything like assisted living for these individuals at all?
Can you say that one more time? I'm sorry.
Is does your program work in combinations with assisted living for the elderly or for the mentally challenged? I mean, we're talking complete health care here, and I'm trying to get an idea of even more things that you guys have that people have to deal with, especially when it comes to, maybe housing and all that kind of stuff where they get to stay. Like, what else do you guys have?
So we have Church Alliance Personal Care Services is our home care company, which we go in. It's non-medical, so we're not skills. So what we do is go into their into our people in the community home and take care of them. And then I have B's. BDS is also when you own your own home and you have 24 hours staff that live in the home taking care of, say you have like 3, 4 clients that you take care of, so they'll live in their home, and then you have 24-hour staff that take care of them. Then you also have respite. Respite, where for respite, it's giving the parents or the guardian time away, and then you come in to basically give them a break so you can take care of their loved ones while they're able to run errands and maybe go on vacation and things like that. And then it's just all kind of services that come under the BDS waiver. So for us, basically, we do transportation, VA clients. We have a lot under our umbrella that we do at our company at Cherish Alliance Personal Care Services.
Wow. Sounds like you took a situation and really amplified it to a much, much more needed organization. Um, when you're dealing with the healthcare industry, you're dealing with different changes in the medical community when it comes to healthcare. How has that affected you over with the start of your new business?
I would say there is a lot of changes that's going on for me, and I tell my people that's even in my community. I said we have to move with the changes, whatever the changes are. Um, if it's something that we need to let them hear our voice about, then yes, let's express ourselves. But if it's something that we say, hey, we just have to move with the changes, let's move with the changes. Let's and change it in the when it comes to your company in the appropriate way to say, hey, we need to add this to our policy. We need to, add whatever changes that the state or the FSSA is asking us to change within our company.
What are some of the things that have been asked to change that you've been in this field long enough that you question and be like, I don't know why we got to do it like this, you know? Because I know there might be quite a few, but what are some of the things that you wish didn't have to be implemented, but there still is underlying questions and that that you yourself are asking about?
Well, I think for us, they have a waiting list that took place July of last year. And we have a lot of clients that are on this waiting list. And for the companies that are in the business or just now getting in a business, it's kind of hard for them now to get clients as easy as it was since the state has put everybody on a waiting list. So if a client was signed up 5, 6, 7 months ago, they might be still on the waiting list. But for us, what we look at is that if we have a client that can't get out the bed, not able to take care of themselves, not able to wash themselves. Now you're saying, here we got this client laying here in a home that, we can't provide services for this client because state right now is saying, hey, we have all these people that's on the waiting list. And for us as a company, that's kind of dear to our heart because we want to service these people, but how can we service them if you're not giving us the opportunity? And we have a waiting list of thousands of folks that needs to be serviced. Mike passed away, I heard people were on the news was saying how people have passed away just waiting. Like, how do we service these people if we can't and we have them on the waiting list 5, 6 months and they're not able to take care of themselves? For us as a company, we feel bad, but as the state, we like, hey, we need help here. Let's get these people off this waiting list so they can receive services. And now they're saying if they not nursing home ready, then they might not be able to receive services, or they have to appeal, which is something that we all like. Wow! So it's been a big effect on the home care industry, on
What is
that part right there.
what what does it say consider nursing home ready?
That's some of the things that we've been questioning and asking. What is that? Are you saying they bedridden? They can't get out the bed? Like, what are some of the things that you're saying that for this client to receive services? What do that mean for them?
Have you addressed this with city officials, politicians?
So I wasn't. They did have a meeting. I was out of town at the time, so they did try to, but they said there was a lot going on down there at the time when they was trying to address. They did have questions for them. We did also a what's it called? Um, I forgot. It's a signature that everybody had to write. I can't even get it out my
Petition? A
mouth right now.
petition?
Petition. Yeah, we did that, and we sent it off to legislators for them to so we can have a conversation. But I just think right now there are a lot of people. They're just not trying to have a conversation with us right now on the decisions that they probably have to make. But we are trying to get somebody to talk to us.
Are those patients that's trying to get off the waiting list? Because you keep moving your phone.
Oh no, I keep getting stuff coming through my phone, so I'm like, let me move it out the way. I'm sorry.
That's all right. I thought you were still on the clock.
No, no. Yeah, listen, we on the clock 24 hours. Believe that.
So before we wrap up, I like the fact that you didn't like your situation. You took that beast mindset and really saw a need for the community, especially here. But you also deal statewide and worldwide. Like, how big of an issue is this worldwide?
I think so we call it the three MCs here in Indy. I don't know where they call it in the other states, but basically it's called path 3MCs pathway, and we do know they are in other cities, and it affects other cities. It closed a lot of home care agencies down when this took place in July of last year. When it came to the three MCs, which is Anthem, United, and Humana, we have to now build under these insurance companies instead of building just under Medicaid. So, and it's affecting a lot of people because one of the question was, y'all bringing this to Indianapolis, was it affected, how did it affect the other cities? And they didn't want to answer it, so we kept asking, and then finally a lady was like, yeah, it did affect other cities. It did close down a lot of home care agencies. So what I did was I told my people in the community, hey, when this take place, y'all need to make sure as a company that your personal credit is together and your business credit together, so you can be prepared for what's about to take place in July. And I was just saying that make sure you have money put aside to make sure that your company is still able to run. And we did have a couple of home cares that did close down because they felt like, hey, I can't afford to pay my staff if I'm waiting 30 days to get paid, or 2 weeks, or just trying to learn the system, and it might took about 2, 3 months to get paid. So it affect a lot of people. I think we all was affected by it, but also just making sure that you was prepared for it. So I had a meeting a year before to prepare everybody in the industry. Like, we need to be prepared for the changes that are about to take place.
So you work globally with other agencies like yourself to make sure that you guys are all on the same page with new information, old information, outdated stuff to make sure all cylinders are moving in the way that you want them to be moved. I take it.
Right. So what I did was I had a meeting in Indianapolis with the home care owners in Indianapolis about the changes that was about to take place. Because at that time, we was the only ones being affected for the changes.
Wow. You got your hands full. Before we
Mhm.
wrap up, how can the viewers reach out to you to get more information on the services that you're providing for this great city that we live in? And I'm pretty sure you can help other people that may be in other cities and help them to get the resources and stuff that they may need as well, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I wrote a book. I wrote a home care book about 10 other cities where you could be able to process it. It could be Chicago, Texas, Kentucky. What we did is we put all the process of what it takes to open up a home care agency in 10 other cities in my book. You can get that book at www.businessasusualpw.com, or you can give us a call at 317-384-6540. And also, Indie Bosses will be recording this summer of July, the 21st of July. We will be recording Indie Bosses, and Indie Bosses basically is showing what people are doing here in Indianapolis, in our community. And we want to show the world what we're doing and put Indianapolis Indie Bosses on the map.
Let's go a little bit deeper on that. We got a few more minutes. Let's just talk a little bit about the indie bosses. Who are you showcasing? Give me more information on that. Who are you showcasing on this?
So we did a casting call. We just had our Indie Boston announcement 2 weeks ago. We had Yandy Smith. She's from Love and Hip Hop. For everybody to know her, she's from Love and Hip Hop. They are Love and Hip Hop in Atlanta, and she graced us with her presence a few weeks ago when we had our casting call. So basically, our casting caller are individuals that's in Indianapolis that are doing their thing in Indy. It come from home care, um, designers, influencers, skincare. We just brought different people. We have a young guy that he's a rapper. If you know his story, you'll be like, wow. So I just want the world to know that, even going through a rough time in your life, or no matter where you was at, that here I am. I struggle here, and I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm making a difference in my community. And I just want the world to know that, hey, in Indianapolis, we are making some noise, and we want to get put on the map. And the exciting thing is, and I want to share this, is that the person that wrote for Love and Hip Hop, and she also wrote for Black Ink. She will be writing for Indie Bosses. So we are excited for that connection from Yandy Smith, for even connecting us together to be able to have somebody that was already skilled in the area of reality TV to be able to write for Indie Bosses.
Now, how can viewers reach out and be a part of that? And just doing everything, man. I wasn't expecting all this today. Wow. So how can they reach out to be a part of that? The shakers and the movers of Indianapolis, Indiana, and really all surrounding Indiana areas.
Yes. So indiebosses.com, you can get on indiebosses.com, and you can also fill out information. Right now, we have already picked our people for our first season. So we will be doing another casting call in the future for our second season.
Now, is this a podcast or is it a movie? What exactly is this?
It's a reality show. It's a reality TV show.
Get out of here.
Yes, and we're excited because
Produced
nobody's doing it
here
like
in
us.
produced here in beautiful Indianapolis, Indiana.
Yes, yes.
The new black Hollywood.
Yes, the new black, that's a good one right there. The new black Hollywood. Yes.
Thank you so much for taking time to come on the show. Guys, make sure that you follow her, that you send emails. All it takes is one click, one email to make a difference in somebody's life. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another, and I do mean another, exciting episode of the Andre the Beast Crayton Show.